Yo, 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 yo. Happy Monday, card collectors. This is your friend Adam Gray, the Real 27 guy, here with another episode of Across the Hobby. Totally messed up my normal intro there, but hopefully things will still go well today. Today, we're going to look at an absolutely huge week of auctions. I sort of didn't realize how big this week was until I started preparations for the show. There is a ton of stuff, but as we did last week, first I will walk us through a couple of significant auctions from last week, look at some of the results, try to do that briefly, and then we will look at auctions from guys from a lot of places. We've got MC Sports Cards big monthly auction that ends tonight. We got Alt's Thursday auction. Heritage has a major auction ending this week, which sort of snuck up on me, if I'm being honest. Goldin's weekly auction, Goldin's elite auction ends this week. Hoodies has a ton of stuff up, even though it's not their monthly auction. They've got a ton of huge cards up. And then we have the Fanatics weekly and card hobby stuff. And I hope I'm not missing anything, although I totally might be, because that's how many things are going on. But without further ado, let's do this. I want to start out. So I'm going to put me on the other side of the screen here for a sec. I want to start out today with this post that I made late last week, just a couple days ago, as both of these items were about to end. You can see this is one that people pretty well engaged with. There's a lot of thoughts, a lot of comments on here. These are two different cards that were both ending on Sunday at Fanatics Collect. And you can see up here at the top, I actually already have included the prices. Really interesting result here. So both cards these are the first two jersey cards for Michael Jordan. One from 97, one from 98. One from the All-Star game, one from a Bulls jersey. But you can read through this post if you want to on my Instagram at the Real 27 guy to see what makes the cards a little bit different, what makes them similar. But I figured the top one was very likely to sell for more money, being the first jersey, being the larger one. But the fact that they both were in the same auction under the same grade was really interesting to me. What's even more interesting is that in the end, the 97 sold for exactly to the dollar, 3 times as much as the 98. Again, same grades. And if you look at gem rate, there's actually more of these in the population than there are of these. So I want to point out a few things here. Super interesting to me that it sold for 3 times as much, given that gem rate shows that this right here is probably a little bit of a rarer card. This is a smaller jersey piece. And so I've always thought, I wonder if there's more of these. But as I looked at gem rate, I was like, oh, maybe not. Population from the graders is an imperfect way to look at true print run, right? I think it's also likely that these from 97 have been more of them have been graded than the ones from 98 have been as a higher rate. More of these have been crossed or regraded. I think it's also fair to say that more of these have been signed. Had a question from somebody in the comments I thought was a really good question, which was, would you rather have the 97 signed or unsigned? Which would be worth more? And some of you are going to say, well, that's an insane question. You'd always rather have Jordan's autograph. And that's probably true. You'd probably always rather have Jordan's autograph. But so many of these were signed over the years. It presents us with a fairly unique case study. There's a real chance that and I haven't looked at the numbers on this, but there's a real chance that at some point, if not now, that there will be more of these that are autographed than are unautographed. And what happens if we get to the point where there's 200 of these that are signed and very few of them that are unsigned? Does that change how we think about it? I don't really know. I have no idea. What I do know is that that's a really interesting equation or conversation. The other thing that I want to point out here is I've always sort of wondered if the 97, if the All-Star jersey that they used for this, if they just used all of the All-Star jersey. I don't really know whether they did or they didn't. If some of it got used for other things later on, I've never done the research on that. And I've wondered the same thing on this card. You can see that the jersey, the piece is smaller. At least it appears smaller. We can't really tell how much is behind the cardboard, but it seems like there would be fewer, or there would be more of these cards to make. But the other thing that's interesting about this is that in 98, they made the Bulls jersey cards. They made 6 versions of the card that were autographed, numbered to 23. They only made one of these autographed and numbered to 23. And so that's 5 times 23. That's, what is that? 115, if I'm doing my math right there. 115 more autographed copies of these than there are of these. How much surface area is 115 of these? I mean, that's not, I guess that's not that much. Say it's an inch. It would be 10 inches, by 10 inches more of these. Maybe that is the difference, actually. That could be the difference between the two. And maybe both of them were entirely used by those products. It's interesting to think about. Super interesting to think about. The last thing that I want to say about these two is that the autographs that are on here that are like after the fact, in-person autographs, while they're very cool, I've always thought that the autographs of this card, the autographs that came out of the pack, number to 23, I've always thought that that's like the Jordan Grail. It's the Jordan Grail. And the question that I've asked a few times or been asked a few times is, would you trade all of your high-end Jordan cards for one of those that's signed? I have a PMG Championship, a Gold Fusion to 40, a Jambalaya, a Playmakers Theater out of 100, a Slam Bams out of 100, and his 2000 Ultimate Collection autograph patch. It's his first stamp serial number patch auto. Would I trade all of them for one of those? And I think I would. That's how much I love that card. If you know anyone who has one, anyone who has one who would have any interest in trading it, I would be very interested in that, because to me that's the card of cards. Okay, so that's one really interesting result from last week. The next one, just staying on my Instagram here for a second, another very interesting one. Two of the same card, both been graded gem mint, one by Beckett, one by PSA, both with 10 autographs. The Beckett actually has premium subgrades too, with 110 and 395s, and yet it sold for less than half of the PSA 10. Few people thought the autograph quality on the PSA 10 was so much nicer that it sort of warranted a significant price difference. I continue to look at these things and go, oh man, it's just amazing how much market share PSA has taken. It's amazing how far Beckett has fallen behind. And remember, I've graded the vast majority of my cards in my collection with Beckett. My PMG and Gold Fusion and all those cards I just talked about, I graded all of those. Other than the autograph that came to me in an SGC holder, all of them I graded. I graded all of them with BGS. In the end, that will be the most significant bad decision I made in terms of value in my time in the hobby. Seriously. Alt had a huge auction. Really interested to see this one. I was going to pull up the one that sold at Fanatics too, which I think sold for pretty well. My take, this card sold for like something like 50% more than the other one. I think that was a very wise buy. I would much rather have this card at 73,000 than the one that sold at Fanatics. And I'm not, again, I said on last time's show, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater on that one, because it's still a real limited logos from 03 of Kobe Bryant, but the autograph was just not nearly as good. And this one being in this case for as long as it was, I think this is a pretty good deal for whoever bought it. I think they got a pretty good price. The Steph, I was very interested to see. I told the guys that these two were easily my favorite two cards last week, and it's interesting that they sold for the most. I love this Steph card because those two tags right there, those are really, really nice tags. It's not just like the Logo Man's obviously awesome, but the Warriors logo is probably, I mean, honestly, in some ways, I think it's maybe even better than the Logo Man. Like, he's been with the Warriors his whole career. It's really cool that it's there. It's not just like some random laundry tag. It's not a size or something that just doesn't matter. It's the Warriors piece. Being out of 10, I don't know if all 10 of them have tags that look like this, but being out of 10, to me, this was really a huge, huge piece, and it was good to see it do as well as it did. Big Trout out of 50, sold for 42. Huge sell on this Jordan Love right here. 10-10, the 10-10 again just continues to crush. Shea autograph 10-10, 36,000. Big number on the Kobe, one of his final autographs before he passed away. 19 grand on the Ruth. I could look at these up here too. This Jalen Hurts almost 20. SGA cracked ice for 17. I love that card. Tatum to 15 for 17. Man, that's a great deal. I would much, much, much rather have this Tatum than this Shea. I would rather have this Tatum than this Shea. I'd rather have the Tatum than this Kobe. I think this Tatum was a pretty good deal. That's my opinion, at least. I'd rather have this Steph than that Tatum. All right, let's keep going. So that's alt for last week. Fanatics Collect. One of the things that I've been doing, if you don't follow me already on my Instagram, one of the things that I do every Saturday night is I post the 4 biggest items as of that point, 4 biggest sports cards that are selling at Fanatics Collect. And I ask the question, which of one of the 4 do you think will sell for the most? And thus far, our community is 1 in 5. We've gotten it right once, and we've gotten it wrong 5 times. And that included last night, even though there were 2 cards that would have resulted in a win, 2 of the 4. So these are the 4 cards that were at the top at the end of Saturday night. It's this one right here, Jack Caglianone. I don't even know how to say him because I'm not a modern baseball prospects guy. I'll probably learn how to say it at some point. Obviously, Shohei Orange, Topps Chrome /25, Jordan 9.5, and then this Ruth in a 5. Those were the 4 that were to be voted on, and the Ruth got the most votes. The Shohei got the second most votes, and the Jordan got the third. Well, the Shohei and Caglianone tied here at $43,200. The Ruth obviously did not win and ended up being far and away the last. And I really thought the Cooper Flag would have a chance to rally to be the most. It's hard to know on these McDonald's cards how well they'll do. I think that's a great buy with how people think about him, what the image looks like. I think that's a really cool card, and I think for going for under 30 grand on that I think it was a pretty good deal. Here's that Jordan again at 23.4, another big Soto. We've seen several huge Sotos move recently. Shea continues to just sell for just really astronomical prices. $18,600 on the Kobe, $14,400 on this Jeter that we talked about a little bit last week. And so we'll call it there for Fanatics Collect. And then for the Fanatics Collect premiere, if you didn't watch with me and Jeremy, it was just a tremendous show. The chat was amazing. We had literally, I think we had 250 people throughout most of the show. And the majority of the time we had 20 to 50 people who were actively chatting and stuff. Whenever we would do one of our Would You Rathers, we had 50-ish people respond, which is a great show. So thank you to those of you who showed up for that. Seriously, thank you. That was awesome. It was an incredible auction. The 2 big cards of the night were pretty clearly going to be the Wemby and the Skeens. The Skeens had really worldwide hype, really elite hype. Maybe, very few times do we see the amount of hype that we saw with that card. That would probably be a top 2 or 3 hype card of the year in terms of how much media coverage that it got. The Wemby got very little. I actually saw some negative things that were said about the Wemby prior to the auction ending, which isn't as common. It seemed like a lot of people wanted to say, hey, this is a card that doesn't have a game used jersey, or this is a card that, and people really went off on it. I don't know about that, because to me, it's pretty clear that it's not autographed, and the vast majority of of NT stuff isn't game used. And a huge percentage of it over the course of the last few years hasn't even been player worn. This is neither. This is, however, the base rookie patch Logo Man parallel, which traditionally has been the biggest card for a player each year. The biggest sales we've ever seen in sports cards were the Luka that sold for originally 4 point something million, and then later for 3 point something million. And then the Steph Logo Man auto that was bought years ago by Alt to be part of, I think, their Fund 1. Those are the 2 biggest cards that we've seen in the modern era. This is that for Wemby. It is. It's the same thing. It's not autographed, and it wasn't worn in a rookie photo shoot, but it is the NT rookie patch parallel. That's the 1 of 1 that has the Logo Man on it. And so to see it sell for $528,000 is not even a little bit surprising to me. Not even a little bit. Some people are like, oh, this is insane. Yeah, I get it, but people aren't buying. This is the thing that people never understand. You're not, when the most significant items sell, they're not buying them just because they're part of a jersey or just because they're game worn. I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong, but people are buying the importance of the card. They're buying the importance of the card. And again, we have learned through years of experience at this point that the National Treasures Logo Man auto that is the parallel of the base set is always the player's biggest, or one of the biggest cards. Usually it's the biggest card. This one's not autographed. So how will it do? The question that I also asked, I did a reel on it. The question that I asked is, what if somebody gets Wemby to sign this? They left that spot, and you almost wonder, like, did Panini deliberately leave that spot? And I could imagine that thing getting signed. And imagine if somebody is able to get this signed and then it sells for huge money. Gosh, imagine that. That would be incredible. Jackson Holiday for almost $200,000. The big question here, where Skeens is the 2023 number one pick, Jackson Holiday is number 20 or 22 number one pick. I think I've heard that Holiday is actually the younger of the two. He certainly looks very young. Came in at training camp just looking amazing. Is there a real chance that the Holiday ends up being a significantly better card than the Skeens? Absolutely, especially because Skeens is a pitcher. In the end, almost always for big baseball players, they're almost always batters, right? They're not usually pitchers. Big number on the Soto, 204,000. It's good to see that. I still maintain it's between that and the Superfractor that is his two best cards. $432,000 on the 1980 and a PSA 10. It's great to see this set here. It's harder to talk about though, because it's, whenever you have a set like this that's mixed grade, it's sort of like, how do I compare it? But almost $300,000 for one of the greatest sets ever made. Could say a lot of stuff on these other cards. There's some controversy around this card, the Jordan. There's a post done by blowout user Roger Maris, also known as 90s Wax on Instagram, one of the most trusted names in the hobby in terms of what is real and what is not. And he made a post that said on Blowout that he wasn't sure that this autograph was legit. It was maybe a forgery or maybe signed later. The thing that I know about these UD3 cards, or UD cubed, as Upper Deck always wanted us to call it, the thing that I know about them is that there have been some issues in terms of cards that I've seen that didn't have an autograph on them, and cards that I've seen that were signed by the wrong player. There is, if I'm not mistaken, a Tim Hardaway card that is signed by Michael Jordan, which is super weird. You see the big Jordan autograph and you're like, oh, that's signed by Jordan. And then you look at the card and it's like, it's Tim Hardaway. How did that happen? And whenever you see unsigned copies of a card get out, it's the worst thing in the world. Because then it's like, do I know it was pack pulled, signed? What if it was pack pulled and then signed? Or what if it was pack pulled, unsigned, and then signed later? What if it just got out of the factory that way? Card companies have to do an amazing job of making sure that those things get destroyed. But sometimes they don't. And Upper Deck, I think, made some mistakes because, like I said, I've seen at least once where I saw one of these that wasn't signed. My guess is that one of those that wasn't signed was then taken and signed by Jordan. And then PSA, which originally graded this, I believe, is authentic, later graded is 9/10. So I believe that the autograph is probably still Jordan, but I don't know for sure. I'm not an autograph expert. I could be wrong about that. But I don't know. I heard something about the cancellation of the sale. I don't know. I just don't know any of those things. What I think is really interesting to ask is this. If it's determined that the autograph is real and PSA has graded the autograph as real, if it's determined that it's real, card is real, but it didn't come out of a pack and the autograph was likely signed later, how do we value it? And then you say, well, was the $324,000 offer placed in good faith? Or is there a chance that somebody was trying to artificially inflate the market on this card because they knew that the sale wasn't going to actually count in the end? I just don't know the answers to these things, but those are the sort of things that I think about when something like this sells. There was lots of negativity around the time of the sale, but most of it came out after the sale. And then you ask, why did it come out afterwards? There's always, you want to think about these incentives and think about why things happen. It's sometimes you can judge and then judge incorrectly. So you should be kind and thoughtful about those types of things. I just don't know. I know this. I didn't actually know 100% all those things that I just told you as the show was happening, which put me in a little bit of an awkward spot because I love the card. I love the card. And it's always been one of my favorite Jordan autographs because of how it shines. It's just beautiful. Okay, we're going to call it there for Fanatics Collect. And now we will get into, 20 minutes later, we will get into the big auctions ending this week. We're going to start with MC Sports Cards. MC Sports Cards giant monthly auction ends tonight. I'm just checking this. Yeah, okay. So I had some messages that were coming in. So MC Sports Cards has their massive auction ending tonight. And so this isn't just their weekly auction. This is their monthly auction. This is a huge monthly auction, and it is ending tonight. At least I thought it was. Am I wrong? MC Monday number 72. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought this was their monthly. Is their monthly next week? Maybe I'm mistaken. Bear with me just for a moment here. Monthly showcase. They have both ending at the same time. Interesting. The reason I was confused is almost everything in the monthly usually is like well into the thousands of dollars. This is not. This is $945. And on their, if you look really carefully, on their formatting, they'll format some of these things different too. It sort of stands out to your eyes. This looks like their normal weekly auction, which is awesome. Normal weekly auction is really great. But let's fly through these so we can get to their monthly, because it sounds like they're both happening today. This is currently sorted for all MC Sports Cards items ending at auction. It's a huge number, and they're all ending, this is sorted by ending soonest. So Giant LeBron rookie, Pujols autographed rookie, big card, Mantle 5, Mantle 6. Yeah, there's some huge stuff here. Big LeBron's PSA 10 of this card just sold for a massive record sale. And so it's not going to be shocking to see how that influences other things like this. And it'll be interesting to see if a lot of people let go of their Kaboom cards. What I always say with Kaboom cards is it's not that they're not rare. They're rare, but they're not nearly as rare as some cards are. So seeing a giant sell like the one that we just saw at Fanatics Collect, we assume gets paid for, because 90-something% of those cards do get paid for. It allows us to be influenced on those. This is a Beckett 9. How does a Beckett 9 compare to a PSA 10? We will see. But I think that could have been part of their big monthly auction. Look at this giant MJ03 in an 8.5, Kobe Magic Duel. Really cool Iverson. I really got to skip through a lot of this because I believe. Okay, so right here we get into the monthly showcase. So the weekly stops here, and we go straight to this LaMelo Ball. That's a rookie game used patch auto, out of 5, out of flawless, huge card, 4 out of 5. So there's your delineation between that card and this card. Although obviously there are cards up here that should have been or could have been in the monthly. Oh, you know what? Maybe they're not in order. That's not great. At least for me, it's not great. Probably nobody else in the world cares besides me. So we're going to just do our best here, guys. 7.5 on the gold out of 29. LeBron, that's a great card. Guy Lafleur, PSA 8. Yeah, we're trying to look at all of them. Kawhi 2012 rookie black. That's an interesting card. The 1 of 1 out of contenders. Kawhi is such an interesting character in the history of the league. I saw my friend MK Sports Cards post today that in the book, the top 100 players ever, Kawhi came out at 35 right now, and I just strongly disagree with that. I don't think Kawhi's anywhere near that. I get that he has 2 championships, and I get that he was the main guy on one of them. I get that he did it for different teams. I get that he's like an A-level defender all time. He just hasn't played enough. He hasn't. He's great when he plays. He hasn't played enough. I wouldn't put him anywhere near that. I don't think his longevity is good enough, and I think he was really lucky to be on 2 really good teams. So did he go outright win that championship against the Warriors? Yes, he was very fortunate to have a really beat-up Warrior team to go win. And I'm not taking anything away from Toronto. It was a great win. It was a great win for Kawhi, but I don't think Kawhi Leonard's a top 35 player of all time. I'd probably have to put him in the top 75, so I think it's good that he made that list, I guess. Am I sure I'd rather have him over Kyrie Irving on that list? I'm not sure about that at all. Sorry, it's true. I get how great he is. I get it. But the best ability is availability, and the dude doesn't play. Sorry, that's my take. I really feel that way. All right, let's keep going. Man, I love this card. Ovechkin rookie, the brand being the cup, just a perfect patch and a great autograph. Man, I love it. I love that card. Justin Verlander in the monthly 9.5. Oh, this is the gold out of 10. I love the SP Authentic stuff. That's like the gold version, the sweeping holofoil on some of the nicest cards that you'll ever see. Red Grange SGC 5, big card from the 1933 Sport King set. Really an interesting Ken Griffey Jr. right here. It is not graded, but the autograph is graded a 10. That's from the very first Finest Refractor set. Be interesting to look at the pop report on that. Remember, when you look at the pop report, you can also look at PSA DNA and see how many have been signed. Has a pretty good case for that, for the most iconic Finest Refractor being the first Finest. I think that's true. I think that's true. A beloved card for sure. Pop 14 Jeter front row auto. Very cool. At least I think maybe it's not an autograph. Maybe it's just the silver. There is an autograph version of this. I don't like how they're mixed together. Sorry, I'm struggling with it. Ty Cobb PSA 1.5. Sweet Cap. Greenback. Great card. Jeter autograph. Another one is very early autographs. Mickey PSA 5. Really a beautiful copy of one of the best looking cards of the 50s. I'm just trying to look for the monthly showcase cards just because we're low on time. Great looking Aaron there. An awesome Jeter. I love these animated PMGs. The Griffey autograph bat here is great. Another one of these exquisite extras out of 75 from 03. If you want an 03 exquisite card of one of the biggest players and you don't want to spend $1 zillion, some of these jumbo jerseys, the extra exquisites out of 75, some of them are the best. They sell for an awful lot less in a lot of cases than the base card numbered to 225 does. I love this Iverson in 8.5. Obviously, like, that is actually a pretty great grade for that card. Play in the PSA 1 Elif Bolliger. A lot of these display amazingly, and look at the pop report on that card. I always say the same thing on this card. It's one of the 3 most iconic soccer cards of all time, according to the Iconic 100 list that we did, that I administered back in 2022, and it is exceedingly rare to also. So it's exceedingly rare and made that list, and I think that means something. I do. Messi autograph jersey. He just doesn't have a lot of these autograph jerseys. I know there's some controversy about stuff that people believe Messi signed versus stuff that they don't believe that he signed. I don't know. I'm not sure. I believe this one's good. I think I've heard people talk about the 2018 National Treasures being good. Maybe do some research on that. What I do know is that he just does not have autographed jersey stuff. He just doesn't have it. They don't exist. There's very, very few. It's not like most all-timer type guys. He has very few of those cards. So I'm actually a little bit surprised to see that sitting as low as it is, but I don't know those prices. Just knowing what I know, I would have guessed that would be more. Oh, a Mikan 4. That's a great card. I do want to look at that one a little bit closer and see how I feel about that one being 4. And we're at 27 minutes. We want to take about another 5 or 6 minutes on this auction. I love this Iverson. Wilt 6. Amen RPA. Really a nice Ruby's Chuck. PSA 7 on the Slam Cam. Great looking star swatch of Steph. You know, that's maybe the patch auto of the era. It's one of them. It's one of them. I love that it has a great name. And it has this year-over-year year-over-year production to help it. Big Kaboom, Jalen Hurts. Wow. PSA 10, Jalen Hurts is at almost $4,000. People love their Kabooms, guys. They love their Kabooms. This is a cool card to see in the monthly showcase. This is a super simple card. See these sell every day. This one's in a PSA 10 holder, and that makes it a pop 12. The die cut, the full bleed back and front. It's just a really tough 10. I've owned a lot of that card. I've never even seen a 10 in person. Jordan Roundball Royalty is a great card. It's not super high pop. It's one of his best Bulls insert refractors for sure. Really an interesting John Wall to watch tonight. It's pop 2 and PSA 10. Several people have put together the set. One of them looking for PSA 10s for the set. I have no idea what that will sell for, but I do know that John Wall's got a few really passionate collectors. So it might be a fun one to watch tonight. I wouldn't be shocked if it did something significant, but I also wouldn't be shocked if it didn't. You know, if people have it in their set already and they don't need it, do the set collector or do the player collectors really come out and save the card as far as what, you know, they believe that it'll sell for? We just don't know. And that'll be fun to watch. Clay Black. One of his last Golden State Blacks. I don't know what year is his final one, but that's the true black prism. That's the real deal there. If you want a big Clay card, that is it. How many Clay true blacks does he have? He started in I mean, I guess this is his first year. Is this his first year away from Golden State, or is this his second year? I've already forgotten. But it's 2024-25. So he has about 11 true black Prism cards across his entire career. That one's a portrait. It's a really cool looking one. Great Iverson. Speaking of patches of the era, I personally would take the silhouettes over just about anything. I love the silhouettes. Really nice. Another really nice mantle. Wow, 5.5. Jackie, PSA 2. And then we get to these unopened boxes. Really great looking Willie Mays, 3.5. Larry David. Interesting. Larry David. I didn't know that he had any cards. Apparently he does. That's cool. Monthly showcase on this LeBron. BGS 8 from 05. So compare these two cards right here. I'll just tell you my thoughts briefly. I don't know who you'd rather have in terms of LeBron or Kobe, but give me this Kobe by a lot because the 04 is just so much nicer than the 05. You can't really see it from this image. In fact, it looks so similar. You've got the autograph era. You've got the foil around the window. Both of these have really nice patches. You've got these swoopy lines right here. But while this is in holofoil, this is in regular foil. And so I'm going to tell you right now, if it was flipped and it was Kobe from 05 and LeBron from 04, give me the LeBron. It's just being real. This card is made so much nicer, like so much nicer. Having said that, they're both out of 100. They're both patches. They're both autographs. And so if you don't care about the foil, which I know many people don't, go for the LeBron. It's going to be a far better buy. At least I'm guessing that it is going to be a far better buy. Could be wrong. Always can be wrong. Zoe Red, BGS 8.5, big card. Kobe 8.5 on the high voltage 500. The Giannis RPA, really nice Paolo out of 99. 8 out of 25 jersey number Ovechkin Black Diamond at $3,000 almost. Carlos Correa, that is the red out of 5, big card. Trout big rookie auto. I love the Walter Payton. Every time a Walter Payton jersey auto from 99 pops up, I always love it. It's right before he passed away. There's several different inserts made, or several different brands made, Upper Deck brands made these cards. They're not impossible to find, but they're just really cool. If you collected at this time, then you remember these cards, you remember this era. You probably remember somebody even pulling one, or somebody like a shop would say, oh yeah, there was a Walter Payton that came out of our shop. There was out of my shop, and it was such a huge deal when it happened. Ty Cobb SGC 5, Mays PSA 3. I love the Gehrig in a 3.5. Give me that card over the vast majority of vintage cards. There's just not a lot of it, and it's very iconic. I shouldn't say there's not a lot. It's gaudy. They exist, but there's not a lot of it. Go look at the pop report. Not very many. In fact, let's do it. Let's look at the pop report on that one here in a second. I got to finish up quick. This monthly auction is amazing, but it just keeps going. Bill Russell in a 4 at $3,500. We're on to page 3 now. Huge Kobe from Impeccable, one of his final autographs. Wemby Chrome Sapphire out of 5. Mahomes PSA 9 Prism. That's the green scope out of 99. It's at $7,000. It's just some giant stuff out here. What is this? Greg Maddux, 1987. It's his Tiffany, and it's been signed, and it's a 1010. That is cool. That is really cool. It's like the Maddux card in an impossible grade, and it's been signed. It's really neat. Shohei with his inscription. First Dodger home run with the date. Really awesome Griffey here. Yeah, this auction for MC is just unreal, guys. Just so many great cards. So many huge cards over $5,000. We really could just sort of scroll this forever and take forever on each one. But this show has to have a time where we call it. Gosh, it just keeps going. How long does it go for, Mike? Goodness gracious. Here's Jordan. PSA 5. Look at that great patch, though. Oh, man, I love that. I said what I said about comparing those two earlier with Kobe and LeBron. The MJ patch here, the autograph's been graded a 9. Hard to go against that one. The Donovan Gold is super interesting. And why? Because of where the Cavs are and what they're hoping to do this season and what his role is and all of that. He's been underlooked his whole career. right? Was a 1 seed in Utah. Had some injury bad luck the year that they were the 1 seed that everybody forgets. And now here he is as a 1 seed again and running away with it. Absolutely running away with it. And that's one of the Donovan cards. Be interesting to watch that one tonight. $8,700 for the 17 of 17 Josh Allen. That's cool. This is very cool. $8,700 Mantle and a PSA 3. I used to own 4.5 of those, or of one of those, and I loved it. Pop 4 Griffey PSA 10 on the 98 Finest, the Man Refractor. So this is one of those finest inserts that aren't generally as well known as so many of the other rare inserts of that same age. But the fact that this one's a 10, be interesting to look at the pop on that. A Kobe 9 on the Legacy Row 0. I always say it's one of his big 3 rookie cards, and it's the rarest of the big 3. Another Jordan autographed exquisite out of 100. I wonder if these all came from the same seller. Check the auto quality on that one. It looks like it might be getting a little dark, but still, look at the card. Look at the overall card. It's an easy card to pull out in the light a lot because you want to look at that card in the light a lot. And that is it for the auction. We will end with a Charizard CGC 10, first edition Shadowless. Absolutely a huge card that a lot of people believe would be $1 million sometime soon. Is no longer, and people are no longer talking about that, but certainly the iconic card from Pokemon. Okay, let's take a quick look at these 2 cards that I wanted, these 2 vintage cards. I know most of you don't want to look at vintage as much, but it's just so good to get a good glimpse on a card like this. You can see there's a little line right here coming through. It looks like it's likely a crease, and there's some discoloring up here. To me, that's quite a bit of issues for a 4, but not insane. The rest of the card looks pretty much like you want it to. There's this white thing here. I'm not sure what that is. And the back displays basically is exactly as you want. And you can see that, in fact, that is a crease because you see that little line right there. It doesn't look like it goes straight through the card. It would be shocking if it did go straight through the card and it was still a 4. So 424-73291. I was going to go look it up, but we'll skip that. I would say 4-4. It's probably a little bit less than average, but it's still 4 Mikan. And a lot of cards, mine included, they're just not very sure to say whether they're unaltered or not. Mine has an altered mark on it. There's definitely questions on whether it is altered, because there's always weird things along the corners. Like, are they as straight as they should be? With that said, this Mikan, we've seen a lot of these that are very off-centered. This one's really nicely centered. Probably not perfect, but pretty darn close. Really strong as far as that goes. And without the crease and with the discoloration, I could have imagined it being like a 7. That crease really hurt it. But the rest of the card has everything going for it the way that you want it to. And then the Gehrig, what I wanted to check on the Gehrig was I wanted to see the population. Remember, Gehrig has 2 cards that look identical to this in the 33 Gaudy set. I'm going to bring this over and show it to you guys. Hold on. So there the Gehrig is on PSA's website. You can see it's a 3.5. It's a 52, and there's 554 greater. And if you click on population, then PSA will take us, hopefully quickly, to the whole of the population for the 33 Gaudy set. And for some reason, it is totally going slow. We're not going to take all day on it. So I'm going to move it back over here. That's too bad. And what I wanted to show you guys was the different versions of the card and show you what the total population is, but it's just still going so slow. So we're going to call it there. That's it for MC Sports Cards this week. Let us now go to Alt to look at their weekly auction. They have another huge weekly auction ending this week, and here it is. You can see from the top 6 cards. It is a huge auction. The Jordan Super Rave, numbered to 50. The Tiger Gold, numbered to 100. A Play Ball Teddy Ball game in a PSA 8 with only 8 graded higher. Jalen Hurts 9.5. One of the coolest autographs you'll ever see, and a PSA 5-star rookie. I would say about each of these individually, just briefly. This card is the 90s parallel that you look at it and you go, oh, there's very few of those, and those don't sell very often, and they don't sell for as much as the other sets. All of that's true. This is the same rarity, same print run as a Rubies or as a PMG Championship, and sells for a small fraction of what those sell for. It still sells for a ton. I believe that the reason that it has been discounted is because the only thing that's really different on it from an aesthetics perspective is sort of this design foily stuff that's over the name of the card and the name down here. And I think for that reason, a lot of them probably got lost too. I don't think there's very many of them out there. With that said, it's still worth a crap ton of money. You can see plus buyer's premium. It's already at 30,000. And again, this does not end until Thursday. Alt doesn't end until Thursday. Tiger's it card, right? His SP Authentic is his it card, but his regular SP Authentic's out of 900. This is the gold. Tiger, we've said it a million times. Tiger has one of the nicest autographs in all of sports, in all of cards. It's just a beautiful signature. Again, numbered out of 100 in a PSA 9. It's just a huge card. It's the Tiger Woods rare card. And you're not paying crazy, crazy money for what a 10 would cost. The play ball, Ted Williams. I think if I remember right, this is the first year of play ball that is color. If you are a vintage person, you know that off the top of your head, though. And I should too. It's an iconic card. It's a recognizable card. You got to love the shadow behind him. You got to love Ted Williams' history in terms of when he played and when he didn't play and all the years of baseball cards he missed because of the war. This is an elite example. And stuff like this, I don't know well enough to know what the market is, but when you see Pop 53 8 higher of a card that's that important, it's always going to be a big auction. And then we get down to these three. I'll skip the Hertz because I don't have anything to add that's going to be accretive to your knowledge there. And then I love this card, though. I do want to talk about this card. Pretty good chance I will make some content on this card tomorrow. I own a card from the set that is all Celtics. I think there's 10 cards in the set. I used to own the one from 2007 this is from 2007 UD Black. I used to own the one that was like 8 rookies that signed that year. It had Joakim Noah and Kevin Durant and then some of the Florida guys. And then it had like Julian Wright on it. And that's the killer on those types of rookie cards is that you're always going to get somebody who's going to just be a dud. And you sort of look at it and go, that's too bad. With that said, it's also a great reminder of what that year was like. This card, on the other hand, has several components or several things about it that I really, really love. Look at these 8 players. MJ, LeBron, Magic, Bird. Okay. I know these two guys literally never played a single game against each other, but they're a great duo. There's a reason that they're on a ton of cards together. And these two right here are probably the best rivalry in the history of the sport. Certainly arguably the best rivalry in the history of the sport. And then when we look at, and if that weren't enough, you look at the back, you get, in some people's minds, the second greatest player of all time in Abdul-Jabbar, including mine. I still think he's probably second of all time. Julius Erving, who's on most people's list for like top 20 player of all time, but as far as like nickname and known and how well he's known, higher than that, maybe like 10 to 15. And then the greatest winner of all time in Bill Russell, and maybe a top 4 or 5 center of all time in Hakeem Olajuwon, and another guy that some people put on the top 10 list and a lot of people put like on their top 15. These are 8 of the best 20 players ever, 7 of the best 15 players ever, and 6 of the best 10 players ever, all on the same card. It's really amazing. It's really an incredible piece from that perspective. You could say that the only guys that are not on this card that ought to be on this card and over, like, who would you take off? You'd take off Irving and you'd put on Kobe, right? Yeah, I would, at least. That's what I would do. You'd take off Olajuwon and you'd put on Wilt. Wilt was gone at this point, by the way, so you couldn't. This was the big hit out of 2007 2007 UD Black. Now, the card's graded authentic. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. This card is an on-card autograph. Yes, all 8 of these dudes held that card. And it's the same thing for my Boston Celtic card. Every time I look at it, I'm like, holy crap, all 8 of these guys held this. good luck. I don't think we'll ever see these things, something like this again, because every time we see an 8X autograph, what do we see? Stickers, right? Bird's autograph is a little light. Check all autograph quality always. Notice that the autographs are not graded here. There's a good reason why. The autographs are probably nowhere near a 10. But you know what? These look good. They look way better than my Celtics do. I'll tell you that. One of my Celtics is like a little bit, has like a little bit of like he's got like a fingerprint in it. It's a metallic pen on a black background held by 8 dudes. It's just amazing. This card looks as good as it does. I still would rather have the autograph graded, but I'm probably different in that way. To me, that's my favorite card of the week on Alt, just so you guys know. It really is. And then a 5 on the Jordan. Man, so much good stuff at Alt this week. Another one of these Stephs, so interesting. It seems to me that somebody had all of these rare Steph insert out of National Treasures, and a bunch of them got listed. And when I say a bunch of them, I mean like almost like 10% of the population. We saw the 09 playoff Colossal Logoman sell recently for almost 200 grand. We saw the autographed one that was not the Colossal, but it was a different set, sell for like 170 grand. The autograph was a little hidden on that sticker autograph. We saw one of these sell. We saw the tag sell last week. We see this one that's up this week. And I will always say this, whenever a bunch of something sell at the same time or close to the same time that haven't moved for a long time, when you get 3 or 4 of those cards in, it always creates a buying opportunity. Almost always. I'm not saying that this will go for some great deal, but I would watch it because there's a really good chance that those people who needed one, that they picked one up recently with all the other ones being sold, and you might get a deal. That's how I think about it anyways. I always want to be buying something when a whole bunch of them have just sold and people are like, I'm sick of that. I don't need it anymore. That's the best. It's the absolute best. Or when something's listed right after it sold, that's the best. Wait for those opportunities to find things at the best prices. All right. Anthony Edwards Gold Optic, Steph Flawless. Another one of these Kobe's. We saw one of these sell last week. The Profiles 3, BGS 8 on that. Not a bad card at all. Not a bad card at all. The silver prism of the era for rookie cards, to be honest. Such a low pop card. Compare that to the pop of any of the modern guys, and you will be blown away. Okay, we're going to call it there for Alt this week. Let's move on to Heritage. Heritage has their massive ending auction this week. I don't know what the name of it is. It's obviously we're in March. They usually have a name, and I don't know what this one is, but this is how you can always tell whether it's a significant auction of Heritage. Click on it and then see what the highest dollar cards are. Well, at the very top, you have 2 huge cards. A Jackie 8 and the Shohei 50 of 50 out of the 50-50 set. And this card is, I think it's, well, no, sorry. This is the 1 of 1 out of the 50-50 set. My bad. Let's talk about each of these real quick. I'll highlight both of those. I'm going to take just a couple minutes on Heritage. I'd like to take more, but I don't have a lot of time this week. What is this? 1860 Brooklyn Atlantics. Fresh and La Lumia. That one's worth doing some history on. Maybe I'll get to do a reel on that one this week. That'd be really cool to know what the history on that card is. Standard Biscuit Company, Babe Ruth, 1921, 4.5. Iconic image. 1932 Caramel, Lou Gehrig in an 8. None superior. What's the pop on that? That one's worth looking at. I do want to hit the wrong button. I knew I was going to hit the wrong button. I knew it. Gehrig. The Nolan Ryan PSA 10 Pop 6, the 1973 Topps card. Fun story on this. This card back circa 1995 booked for $100 in the Beckett magazine. And I know that because this was one of the first baseball cards I ever bought. Mine had a crease in it, but I convinced myself at the time, being that there was a lot less education, that this was a mint copy. Well, if you looked in the Beckett, there was like multipliers for condition things. And if you found a card that was mint, you put it at 150% of what the Beckett value was on a card from this era. So I thought my Nolan Ryan was worth $150. I seriously think I paid $6 or $9 for it. And I convinced myself it was worth $150. I sold it years later for like $20. But I was a kid, and those were my early days in the hobby. Like, how do I buy something that's going to be worth a ton, and then later, I've got to sell this thing? And honestly, guys, it's very similar to what I do now. A lot of times I'll buy something and be like, but the thing that's different now, I would say, is I don't just buy stuff just because I think it will definitely go up. I have to like it. I have to really want it too. Whereas I didn't used to do that. With that said, this is a 10. This one really is really mint, more than mint. It's as nice as you get. It's a PSA 10. It's estimated at 70, and it's already past that. But I wouldn't be shocked on a card like this to see it do quite a bit more. You can get some sense in terms of low pop, ultra high grade, what's it kind of going to do. But sometimes when stuff's as low as this one, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to get an idea. Boy, a 9 on the Jordan Star, that's a biggie. It's a big card. Estimate of 100, and it's only at 72.5 right now. Seen some of those dropping a little bit. Signed Hank Aaron, autographed set. I need to know more about that. Mantle 5. Ty Cobb 2. There's a card you don't see very often. The Tango Eggs. Sort of just looks like a T206 if you look real quick. I'd like to do some research on that one. The only example in the PSA population. We better read what they've got to say there. That one could be interesting. That one could be very interesting. Ooh, and really interesting one to me. PSA 6 on the Playmakers Theater MJ. We didn't see any of these move in a long time. A really long time. Then Goldin moved in 8. Fanatics moved to 5. And a 5. I think it's a 5. And then this is a 6. Mine's a BGS 8 holder. I had the chance to cross it at the National Tour. I think it was a 7, and I probably should have done that. Maybe it was a 6.5, actually. Probably should have done that. I didn't do it. Because I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a card I want to keep. Another Wagner 4.5 out of 1914 Cracker Jack. It's cool. As P. Ryan pointed out last week, compare this set. He was speaking about the Joe Jackson, but compare the pop on this to the pop of the Honus Wagner, the T206. It's not that different. He's right. It's not. They're less rare. There's more of these, but not that much more. Not that much more. It's from the same era, and man, oh man, that original Cracker Jack set is just lovely. It is just a lovely, lovely card. The Honus will always be the Honus. Right, the T206. This isn't in the same world as far as like how iconic it is, but look at the year, look at the condition, look at the rarity, look at the pop report. And then, of course, I love, let me just say this real quick. I think that 1914 Cracker Jack is hurt by 1915 Cracker Jack and my people's lack of understanding. Some people just wanted the cards regardless of the grit or regardless of the set. But 1914 is rarer, and they were all in the candy. And 1915 wasn't all in the candy. You could send away and get them for a better price. I think historically that's harmed how people think about the Cracker Jack. I think the Cracker Jack's one of the nicest sets ever. I really do. Sorry if you hear my dog barking or my wife talking. There's lots of stuff going on in the background right now. I think I've got it all out, but maybe you can still hear it. Another one of these Jordans. The grand finale in an 8.5. Heritage sold one of these recently. I don't think this is a resale, but it's worth checking on that. Might already have another auction out there that sold, or one that sold. It didn't sell for anything crazy, and especially for how rare it is, being playing days. Similar to a card that we talked about earlier today, the Super Rave. I like this card more than the Super Rave, though. I do. I'd like this one more than the Super Rave because it's the best upper deck parallel ever made. And I do think that. Also, I love holograms. Also, I love that this whole set is an hologram. And also, because there was confusion around the colors, some people lost the golds in the middle of like the golds versus the grand finales. People just looked at them and they were like, oh, that's a gold. Oh, that's a gold. And turns out like they weren't all gold. Some of them on the back were numbered out of 50. All right, let's keep going. The American Caramel Joe Jackson, certainly one of his biggest cards, 1909 to 1911. And I love this Jordan autograph, the 98 Living Legends. This autograph's a little bit darker. We don't see it move very often. It's a very hard card to find. The only context I'll give you guys here that's really interesting, and I think this is really interesting, is if you look at 98 Jordan autographs, there's 3 or 4 of them that I don't believe when they got them signed that they had any idea what packs they were going to be putting them into. I'm serious. I really don't. There's this one, there's the one out of Encore, and there's 1 or 2 other ones where it doesn't even have the brand on it. It just says the name of the card. It just says the name, like Living Legend, right? Like, what set did it come out of? You can't tell by looking at the card. I think they had Michael Jordan sign a bunch of cards, and then they said, we'll figure out later which products these are going into. I don't have any authority on that. I don't know. But looking at the card, I think I'm right. Because every other set ever, you just know what card, what set the cards from. Not these random Michael Jordan autographs. 98, numbered to 50. Really a great, great card, guys. That's one of my favorites of this auction, for sure. Ted Williams and a PSA 8. Dang, huge card. Dual logo men auto. I've seen this one up a couple of times over the years. The Dwight and the KG. KG's in black, Dwight's in blue. Some people don't love that. I personally don't care. Both autographs are phenomenal. Card's graded a 5. It's a 10 grand. This is a case where people sort of look at it afterwards and say, what's this combination for? Well, when this card was made in 2000, this is from 2005. This is Dwight's second year. When this was made, we didn't know how great Dwight Howard would be. We knew he was a young kid out of high school, like the guy on the left. Turned out Dwight Howard ended up being one of the greatest defensive players of all time, probably a top 10 defender all time. Should have made the NBA 75. Yes, I would have put him over Kawhi. Yes, I would have. Would have put Dwight over Kawhi. I know Kawhi's got 2 championships. I know. But Dwight did so much for so long and had so little on those teams that he did so much on. People remember him from like the Laker years when he wasn't good anymore, but man, he was amazing in Orlando. And I know that he made some mistakes toward the end, but he was an incredible talent. KG, one of his only logo men autos. You don't see a lot of KG logo men autos. You do now see some with Panini, but how many does he have from back then? Not very many. And I'll tell you what, if an ultimate logo men auto of KG popped up, a single logo men auto, that would be a huge auction. This one comes with Howard. It's worth far less because of that. We saw that last week when the combo of Larry Hughes and LeBron James sold for far less than LeBron on his own would. I would think that's similar here, except for Dwight is no Larry Hughes. Dwight is, again, one of the best defensive players of the era. Huge Babe Ruth, PSA 2. I love this patch from Jordan. I love it. This will be one of my favorite cards of the week for sure. Numbered to 25. It's the first patch delineated card. Upper Deck gave us the language along with Fleer and Topps. They shared the language. We had jersey cards and we had patch cards. And for Upper Deck, this was the first patch set. In 97, we had jerseys and jersey autos. We had a jersey auto. In 98, we had jerseys and jersey autos. In 99, we got the first patch. And this one's serial number to 25. He was no longer an active player. Does that harm it? It does. But the fact that this is sitting at $9,500 and you compare it to what like other inserts and stuff like that are numbered to 25 sell for, I think it's an absolutely fantastic deal. Fantastic deal. I'd love to see one of these signed and then in a PSA DNA holder. That's what I'd like to see. I think I've seen it sell a couple of times. I think that where it's at right now is a tremendous price. I don't know what it'll sell for, but I love that card. Really nice mantle, 2.5. A Jordan. Ooh, this is the Jordan patch from 03. Sort of like a variation on the base card. Variation different than an insert. Or sorry, than a parallel, because the parallel is like just similar with different colors. Variation means like they changed it. I don't know how many of the players in the set had a patch variation, but see how it's number 3P? Let's look at it real quick. So it's number 3P. It's the same sort of formatting on the front, but with a patch. The back, obviously, it looks different because it has all of the language for patches and stuff. But I love that Jordan card. Again, sitting under 10 grand, but it's from the set. It's a variation of the base card. I mean, what would you rather have, that card or like a PSA 9 of his base card number to 225? Well, I'll tell you, I think the PSA 9 of the base card sells for quite a bit more and what this is at right here. I don't know what it ends at. Worth watching. I'd like to take more time. We're out of time, though. Let's look at these cards real quick. So Jackie PSA 8, one of the cards of the night, or one of the cards of the week, for sure. That reminds me. I haven't even keeping track of what my 5 favorite cards of the week are. Let's skip that this week. Sorry, guys. I've already covered too much and just so low on time. Check the pop report here. Heritage does this wonderful thing. Come into here. You can check on the pop report yourself. And when you do that, you're going to see this is a pop 40, and there are 9 higher. And you're like, okay, that's a big number. Yeah, but that's one of the most iconic cards ever made. In fact, bear with me 1 sec. So, did this for PWCC a few years ago. And the way that we put it together was by asking experts in the world of sports cards what they believed the most iconic cards were in the hobby. And then we took the lists and we ranked them. If I remember right, we had like 175 people. I might have been 200 people. It might have been 100 people. I don't remember for sure. But a lot of people did the list. And you can read in the front. It actually says in the front how many people we had who did it. It says we asked over 150 industry experts. And I administered the whole thing, right? So I averaged the lists. This was me. So I can tell you for sure that this information is 100% from these 150 people. Really great people who voted on it. So where does the Jackie fit? I remember it off the top of my head, so I just turned right to it. It's the number 10 most iconic card in the history of the hobby. 9 is the Upper Deck Griffey. 8 is the 1980 Topps Bird Magic Irving. 7 is the Gretzky. 6 is the Brady Contenders. 5 is the LeBron RPA. 4 is the Babe Ruth Gowdy. And we put all 4 of them together on the same page. And then the big 3 are just undeniable. But the order of them is very controversial. I have the number 3 card as number 1 on my personal list. That's the Wagner. The Jordan was number 2. And then the Mickey Mantle 52 Topps is number 1. Why do I go through that and share all that with you guys real quick? This card in an 8 with only 40 higher is a really big deal. Think about, think about it in these terms. The triple rookie from 1980 Topps just sold at Fanatics Collect for, I can't remember what it was, 400 and something thousand. We just looked at it a few minutes ago. There's 24 of those in a PSA 10. Okay. 24. Between 8, 9, and 10 on this, between 8, 9, and 10, there are twice as much. So 49. But it's that twice as much should sort of sound like reasonable to you. There's 24 PSA 10s of that card. There's 48s of this card. Imagine how much a 9 would sell for. And I don't know, are there 10s? Can we look? Can we look at the population? Might as well. That's why you guys are here, right? So let's see. If we look at this population report, some of you already know this off the top of your head. I do not know this. He has, okay, this is interesting to me. This is so interesting. He has 1 8.5. He has 7 9s. He has 1 qualified 9. And know that 1 qualified 9 is not worth as much as an 8. At least in general, that's not true. PSA's big mistake. They made several big mistakes over the years. They shouldn't have ever done qualifiers. Sorry, they shouldn't. No one wants them. No one wants a qualifier. Everybody wants the card just to know what the standard grade number is. And so they made a big mistake by having a qualifier back when they started in the 90s. They shouldn't have ever done it. Besides that, though, it sort of messes up as you look at these. Like, no one cares about these 8 with qualified. I mean, I don't want to say no one cares. It's still a great card. And it's still really cool to know where it would grade if the centering wasn't an issue. But the centering is there, and it is part of it, and people do care. And so nobody in the world thinks the 9 with a qualifier is better than the card with the 8 grade. So I shouldn't say nobody in the world. Very few people do. Most of us do not believe that. So I do not like that this says 9 higher. I don't think that's right. I think it's wrong. I think that they've decided the way they've elected to do that is not how we think about this. It's not how I think about it. I don't think that other people actually who are big collectors are like, oh yeah, let me see. Oh yeah, there's a 9 qualifier. It's better than the 8. I don't think they think that. So that's my take. But the fact that there are 40 of these and there's 1 8.5, that make no bones about it, that 8's a big deal compared to these 40. It is a big, big, big deal. Not as big as deal as these 7 9s. There's really 8 better than this card in existence. It's huge. Heritage put this number 400 and up on it. Would I rather have this or a 1980 Topps triple 10? It's worth thinking about. Check the centering here. Centering's clearly not spot on, which tells you that the rest of the card's probably pretty freaking awesome. Got a little bit of this stuff going on up here. It looks its age, though, doesn't it? And isn't the image of Jackie just phenomenal? See a lot of these that don't look nearly as good as that. And I always have to give Heritage a shout out. Heritage's imaging is just incredible. It's wonderful. Heritage Auctions, if you're out there listening, thank you for making your images awesome. I just want to talk about the Ohtani real quick. The 1 of 1, there's the patch. I know they've done a lot of content on this card. It's worth looking at like where this actually came from and what it actually is and where this is from. I think this is from like Shohei's pants. And so it's a big deal card. Like his pants from the time where he hits the 50-50. In fact, let's just look at the back of the card rather than reading everything. Let's just look at the back of the card and see if there's anything that's described there. Yeah, see 50th home run, 50th stolen base pants. So this is a piece off of his pants, right? This piece right here. So can you see through it? Is this also, is that this? I think it is. I think this is the back of that. That's so cool. Man, Topps has done some cool stuff. So 50th home run, 50th stolen base pants. The material embedded in this card is worn by Shohei on this date when he established the first 50-50 campaign, blah, blah, blah. The signings of all Topps autograph cards. Yeah, so it's awesome. It's so cool. 1932 Gehrig. This is the one that says none superior. I got to check this real fast. I just want to understand like what that really means for a 1932 caramel card to be none superior. I want to see what the whole of the pop looks like. I really like it. Reminiscent of the Cracker Jacks made 16 or 18 years ahead of time, or ahead of this. Hopefully I've got the right one here. Let's see. I do 8 cards. And if we click on it, late. I gotta go fast. Just over 100 graded ever. 103 graded ever. I'll tell you what, this is going to be on our list of one of the cards of the week, though. I know I'm not doing a top 5 this week. This one would be on there if it was. Like Topps has done a few things where you have to look at it and go, gosh, that's so cool they made that. It really is really cool they made that card, guys. It is so cool. And then, okay, I had to look at this one because I wanted to read what it says. Tango Eggs, the only example in the pop. One of the rarest and most mysterious of early 20th century trading cards issues. The 1916 Tango Egg set was unknown to the modern hobby until a small hoard was unearthed in 1991. Nearly 35 years later, the full pop report population of this issue slabbed by PSA numbers less than 400. This is the only example in the population to picture the greatest baseball star of the era. How crazy is that? Gosh, this is one that I'm like, I got to do a talking head post on this, guys. Cobb's only Tango Eggs card. Like, how did they determine the pop, or how do they determine the checklist? This is one of the great things about baseball cards is like going in and discovering the history of everything afterwards. The obverse, artwork is redolent of contemporary caramel issues. Yeah, it is. But the method of distribution for the eggs issue is unknown today, as is the full roster of subjects. Yep. 20 different players appear in an aforementioned PSA pop. The batting portrait ably captures the batting stance that earned the Georgia Peach decades upon the hit king throne. Yeah, the fact that Ty Cobb in 1916 appears in a set, and this is the only one in existence, it's a different kind of 101 than we're usually used to. And good luck to Heritage for putting an estimate on this. I don't know how you make an estimate on that, other than, I guess, if the card is sold before. It's like, this is a different kind of 101. I want to do some content on that. We'll see if we can. I'd like to do some more learning. Okay, that's it for Heritage this week. I shouldn't have gotten out of that. Darn it. Shouldn't have gotten out of it. I always do that on accident. Let me do this real quick just so I don't forget. I'm just going to come here and type in at the very top. I'm going to type, well, actually, let's do a Control F for Ty Cobb. There it is. We'll click on it, and then we'll keep it for later. All right. Let's go to Goldin. This is Goldin's weekly. Goldin also has their elite auction ending this week too. Holy crap, guys. This week is unbelievable. This is a huge week. So in their weekly, very, very briefly, Shohei Sapphire, Mookie Betts, definitive logo patch. Doesn't look like it's autographed. Shea Mojo autograph. PSA 2 Jordan rookie. Really neat bird magic here. Really, really cool card. Let's see if anything else stands out. I'm going to give this a grand total of about another 10 seconds with how much other stuff I've got to do today. Actually, this Jordan's a sleeper right here. PSA 9. Really tough. 98 prime choice reserve. Check that out if you're a big Jordan guy. Learn the history on that. PSA 5 on the Ronaldo. What is that? What is this? Wemby looks like, what is this? Wemby looks like the original 09 NT with the really cool Nike swoosh in a CGC holder. That's a cool card. It's a really cool card. Again, it's not autographed. Jersey's not game used. Do you care? How much do you care? How much is everybody going to care? Oh, cool. Another octograph in the same week. How lucky is that? This is an octo of some of the all-time great centers. Is that Brad Daugherty? Brad Daugherty ends up on this card with a bunch of really great centers. Not that Brad Daugherty wasn't good. He was number 1 overall pick. I didn't realize he was on that card. I love this card. I'm going to definitely watch that one. Somebody who watches this show is going to probably outbid me, and that's okay. Okay, we're going to call it there for Goldin's weekly. I got to spend at least 15 minutes on the Goldin Elite. I have to. I'm totally out of time. I've taken way too long, but I'm going to give this 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so LeBron's just a huge LeBron RPA here. Okay, so this is one of the best LeBron RPAs in existence. That's not even kind of controversial, and that's why it's already over $1 million. And I don't know where this one ends. I don't know. I have no idea. So I always say with these cards, there's 3 things you have to look at. You're looking at the quality of the patch, you're looking at the quality of the autograph, and then you're looking at the grade of the card or the quality of the condition of the card. This card, to me, looks like it's basically got everything perfect, which is rare considering all 3 of them have significant issues. We're going to look really closely at that one if I can get into the card. The Jordan jersey autograph from 98, big card. The LeBron gold chrome out of 50. The Steph, the 1 of 50 on the Steph and a PSA 8. I love that. I love it. This shade is hilarious to me because I just said, like last week when the 2 of 10 sold, I'd rather have the PSA 9 that's a 2 of 10 than what the PSA 10. I'd rather have that. And I can't go back on that. And I wouldn't go back on that. I'd rather have that card than this one. But with that said, I'm not sure the community feels the same way as I do. So it will be interesting to see what this sells for and what the jersey number 1 sells for. And after they both sell, yes, I'm definitely going to put one of my little posts together that has both of them and what they sold for with their different dates. I wish that we didn't have the date difference, because people will be able to point to it and say, oh, Shea's cooler now than he was then, or he's hotter now than he was then. And I'm not sure that really matters. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch that. BGS 9.5 on the Luka. Oh, this is a huge Wemby. This is a huge card. So every year, I'm going to click on this one too. I'll come back to it. And so we can talk about it while I'm looking at it bigger. Caitlin gold vinyl autograph in her WNBA uni. Oh, this is the 40-40 club, Shohei. Very interesting. Black label. Remember, before they made the 50-50 cards, they made 40-40 cards. They didn't know Shohei was going to get the 50-50. And then when he did, it was like, shoot for the 40-40 cards. Still, he's got the inscription and the date on there. The card is signed. It's also in a black label. Another one of these. Oh, this is the orange out of 25 and 160 already. Another big Jackie, this time a PSA 7. Pretty off-centered, but great image of Jackie. 1921, E121, Babe Ruth in a 4.5. PSA 7 on the mantle. The Golden Elite is always elite, guys. Pop 3 on the Connie Hawkins rookie PSA 10. I can't believe there's 3 of those. A few years ago, we saw some absolutely huge bids for the highest issued 69s. There's a couple big guys going for that set, and they go crazy. We've seen commons of those sell for 6 figures. Seriously. I always love this Jeter. We don't see it very often. I think there's like 30 of them in existence. Do the research on that. Discover how many of these there are. You may come to a decision that that's the Jeter card. Yes, I know it's made after like the SP, but it's just so limited. And it says rookie on the card. See, they have rookie here listed here. It says rookie here. And then other people will say, that's not a rookie. It's not a rookie in Beckett. It's not a rookie. That may be true, but it was listed as a rookie when it was put up. And I think this is his rookie year when it came in, his first year in the majors. Fun to see these two right next to each other. Jordan a little bit less than twice as much as LeBron right now. Nicer patch on the Jordan. Be interesting to compare the autographs there. I love this card. I feel like we've seen this sell recently. The patch on this is amazing. The 04 limited logos are amazing. I want to highlight this real quick, actually. The 05 SP game used extra significance. These ones are out of 5, I think. Yeah. Like, this is one of the best looking dual autograph cards ever. Sweeping hollow foil sort of coming from both directions. The way that it frames the autographs is really nice. There's not a lot of room for the signatures, but both guys looks like they nailed it here. I would look closer to ensure that I'm right about that. Some more big Kobe's selling at the same time. I love the Logo Men set. I own a Tim Duncan from this set. I actually traded a big Kobe Bryant card. I think people would say I overvalued the Timmy. I love it because it feels to me like an insert set. There's enough of them that they move. They move. They don't move a ton, but they move. How many of them of Kobe are there? I think there are 8. Yeah, this is one of 8. I think we saw the 8 of 8 move not that long ago. Was it the 8 of 8 or was it this one? This one's in an authentic holder, just like my Duncan is, and my Duncan looks really nice. I wonder if the same person got him graded. Probably not. This one looks like it's a really new grade, so probably not. Black Mamba on this, the iconic Kobe signature. Another Black Mamba right here. A couple of big Aaron Judges and big Giannis. Very rare to see 3 colors on that, so that's a big deal. A LeBron, a true LeBron gold. Haven't seen any of those, hardly any of those in a while. So neat to see that. A couple big McDavids, both from the cup. This one's a 1 of 1. This one's the 67 out of 97 with an unbelievable patch. Which of those two would you rather have? Shea. What is this Shea? Is this the first off the line? Yeah, the limited edition. I think this is the first off the line. Which, if I'm right, looks nicer than the gold does out of 10. Just being real. It's because of the holofoil. I know I beat you guys over the head with the holofoil, but I believe that's true. SGA Logo Man autograph. That's cool. Another one of these big later Kobe autographs. Kaboom Gold of Wemby, the Kaboom Gold rookie card. Wemby's looking like he's ready to get into a fight there. A Shaq signed Cybertruck. Crazy cool, crazy different. OJ's replica Heisman Trophy. I don't really understand the replica Heisman thing. There was an auction not that long ago, like in the last year, where a specific athlete had a ton of his stuff listed with Goldin, and he had gold medals from like the Dream Team and all of these other things listed. And then when you read closely, it's like a lot of them were replicas. I don't know how that works. I don't know if when you get a trophy, they offer you a second one. I don't know if the player commissions it so they can put it out and have the other one. I don't know how that works. I'm not sure. I thought there was just one trophy, but apparently there's more than one. I don't know. Speaking of that, here's that same situation with OJ. Personally owned track and field championship gold medal. I didn't even know OJ had a gold medal. I don't know if this is the gold medal or a replica gold medal. I don't know. It's worth reading that. Some Kardashian stuff. That is something you will not see me spend a whole lot of time talking about. Jordan autographed rookies. This one comes with probably a game-used logo man. This one's another one right here. 9.5 on the Jordan. Jordan PSA 10 on the 87 sticker. I saw Nat post one of these recently. I do not know what this collector's choice Ichiro thing is here, but I want to know it because Ichiro didn't have cards, mainstream cards, till 6 years later. And as far as I can tell, it's very rare. So that's one that I would love to do a story on and love to know more about. The 10 graded, a couple of real big Kobe's, 10 graded atomic, 10 graded chrome refractor. Definitely always check for greening on both cards, but both are 10s. Not black labels, but both are 10s. Couple of big Jordan Ultras. There was another big Ultra Jordan sold on eBay. I highlighted it last week. Sold for big money. I actually messaged the guy afterwards and said, "Did you get paid?" He told me that he did. That's what he said. So some of those looks like they might be selling for big money. Maybe Ultra's platinum is sort of finally getting the love that it deserves. I don't know. I just know we've seen a bunch of them sell in quick succession, which always makes you sort of raise your eyebrows a little bit. I love this Rodman. First year rubies where they were serial numbered, and it's a great looking card. Ooh, this Jordan is signed. Why is it signed? Probably an in-person linchpins. Linchpins is an elite insert. Really tough to pull. Fusion Titanium, or what I call the Fusion Gold of the Derek Jeter. These are two Fusion cards. They came from the same year. You can see everything's designed the same about them. But in basketball, they totally jacked up the naming convention because like some cards are called this, some cards are called that. The bottom line is the silvers in basketball are either from the numbered portion of the set or the non-numbered portions of the set. And I think they should just be called silvers. I think we should just call them Fusion Silvers, Fusion Golds. Keep it really easy. And then say, is it numbered or not? Now, Jordan is not supposed to have any of these cards that are not numbered. Probably has a couple that got out of the factory unnumbered. I know he has at least one because we've seen it sell a couple of times. 9.5 grade on this is huge, by the way. But would I rather have the Jordan to 250 or the Jeter to 50? Give me the Jeter all day long. And I know that's going to be controversial, especially because this one's a 9.5, but give me the Jeter all day long. Barry Gold PMG, currently at 47.50. Big Jordan autograph, Big Brady out of 10. We actually just saw one of those move, which is unusual that two of them are moving almost at the same time. Brady Mirror Gold at PSA 8. Another Big Brady. This one's the PSA 10 out of 350. Jordan autograph out of 01 Upper Deck. One of my favorite LeBron cards. You know about these two. You probably know this one as well, but a little bit of multicolor coming through here on the patch. This is the variation. Let me talk about this one real quick, actually. I'll highlight that one and come back to it. Oh, I love this Kobe right here. I love that. We'll talk about that in a second. I just have to go, guys. I'm up against it, so I'm gonna go fast here. I'm gonna try to hit 2 or 3 other quick things. real quick. Man, just the Goldin Elite is just not one that I want to have to speed through because there's so much going on, but I'm not even sure. I'm not sure what I'm doing for any of these cards this week. I don't think I'm doing anything for any of these cards this week. So, okay. So we're going to stop there on Goldin Elite. We're going to just talk about these three cards real quick. So this is obviously the card of the auction, and I wanted to highlight it to you guys because, here we go. Because I want you to look at the autograph, I want you to look at the patch, and I want you to look at the grade of the card. So the autograph to me looks pretty spot on. I don't know that you're going to find a LeBron RPA at this point that's bluer than that one. I love all the strokes. I love that it's got to be rated a 10, right? Yeah, it's graded a 10. The card was graded in the 8s long time ago. How long ago? That's a good question. I want to know how long ago this card was graded. I'm going to guess this was 2015. 2014. Am I way off? I'm going to say 2014 or 2015. 8126105. 2014. So yeah, May of 2014, this card was graded, and Beckett doesn't have images. They should. It's a massive issue that they don't. Can't believe Beckett does not actually take images of their cards at this point, but whatever. So, but granted, this is from a long time ago when nobody was taking images. PSA wasn't taking images in 2014 either. This card's been in this case for 11 years. Okay, so it's been in the card case for 11 years. It is a 9.5. So this is the simple stuff, right? Let's take you through the simple stuff first. There are 11 9.5s of this card. The card's been graded 105 times. It's amazing because there's only 99 of them. And PSA is graded a bunch too. So you have to talk about this card in terms of how many times it has been graded, not how many copies have been graded. Really, we should always do that. Our vernacular should be, this card has been graded X number of times. To shorten the language, a lot of times we'll say things like, there are X number of these that have been graded. Which that's never true because there's always stuff that's being cracked and regraded and stuff. So 105 times this card has been graded. And you can bet that those 9.5s, those 11 9.5s, is that what I said? 11 9.5s, that they're either still in a 9.5 grade or they've been crossed to PSA because that's what people are going for, was for the 9.5. So from a condition perspective, it's almost a top 10 percentile card that has ever been graded by Beckett. Is that a big deal? I think that's a huge deal. I do. I think that's a huge deal. Okay, so that's step one. The card, top 10%. How about the autograph? Well, the autograph looks like I want it to look. I don't know you're going to find the blue any lighter than that. You might say, that's a little bit darker than I want it to be. It's spent a little bit too much time in the light. Yeah, but it's not bad. I think most of the LeBron autograph rookies at this point look worse than that. I think it looks in line with those. And the strokes are all where they want to be or where you want them to be. It doesn't have major issues. It's certainly right there, as far as like being a top tier rookie. Is it a top tier autograph? Is it a top 10% like the card is? I don't know how to differentiate that. I don't think that the autograph's easily placed on a spectrum, except for in terms of color. And I don't think that I've seen any that are really nicer than this. Maybe I have. Maybe there's a few. Maybe there's a few that just totally stayed out of the light. But that's my take on that. And then the last piece is the patch. The patch is one of the nicest patches in existence. I mean, it's a top 10 patch total. Do we have top 10 on grade and top 10 on patch and then top 20% on autograph? I think so. So how many of the 99 would I rather have than this? I'm not sure there are any other than the fact that I love jersey number stuff. So I would personally take the 23 out of 99 over this card. I can't see. This is number, is that 10 or number 18? Looks like there's something right over the number. Anyways, there aren't more than a couple of in the whole 99 that I'd rather have over this. I'm not sure there's one that I'd rather have more than this. This is one of the nicest ones in existence. And again, I don't know that you can pick a fault in terms of any of those major three things. It's exactly what you want it to be. So that's my take on it anyways. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. That's definitely going to be one of the cards that we want to talk about this week or include on the thumbnail. And we can get out of this now. And then there's 3 more cards. Okay. So this Wemby, we just saw the Wemby parallel of the base card sell for $500 and something thousand. Okay, now this is where comps are so interesting. And I could go off here for a long time, and you guys know me well enough to know that I might. But I'm going to try to keep this short. Where the Logoman auto is usually the biggest card. Wemby doesn't have an autograph. That card was less appealing than the normal copies of the Logoman autos that we've seen. So like Steph has a Logoman auto, 1 of 1, sold for $6 million. Luka sold for $3 and $4 million. Wemby's Logoman sold for 500 and something thousand. Okay, are you with me so far? This card, I would personally argue, has. Now I want to say this the right way. So let me stop real quick. This card is still not. You'll see from the back. It's still not from a rookie photo shoot. You can see down here, the enclosed officially licensed material is not associated with any blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's not great. But what it is, and there are sets like this that include that. What this is ever since Steph in 09, we always get a rookie logo man without autograph numbered to 5. The interesting part is that where usually the players have an autograph on the 1 of 1, and so this becomes like super secondary to the 1 of 1. This is still secondary, by the way. This is still not the $500,000 thing that sold last week. It's not. It's out of 5. But it doesn't, it's not the difference between this and the normal 1 of 1 is not as significant as it usually is. It's not. Gospel by Adam here, but it's not. Because that one wasn't signed. So the question that I have is how are people going to view this, being that this one also isn't signed, but it's out of 5 and it's an insert. It's an insert that sells all the time. Steph just had the same card, his out of 5 rookie logo man. He just had the same thing sell at Goldin a few weeks ago for a hair short of 200 grams, like $191,000. Is this that? Is this on that? I don't know if this is, I'm not going to ask about prices. I never ask about prices. I let you guys figure those things out on your own. Is this like in that same vein of like a card for Wemby that card is for Steph? Again, I think this is far closer to the logo men that Wemby has that's a parallel of the base set than what Steph has. Steph's logo man auto from the base set is the most valuable modern day basketball card outside of the LeBron logo man auto. It's the most expensive. It's the most valuable Panini era card is what I should say. So, I'm sort of all over the place there, but I hope that like hits to you guys a little bit. This is a huge card, and congrats to CGC on being able to grade this one because this is one of the biggest cards they've ever graded for sure. And I'm excited to see how it does on or later this week. And the LeBron autograph here is definitely not what it once was. It is not. It's far from being as blue as you'd like it to be. This might be a great copy for me, honestly, because, I love this card for what it is. I love that he has a rookie logo man auto to 99. We've already covered that and exquisite. But his very best rookie RPA is a card out of Ultimate. It's his logo man auto that we've never seen before that parallels the base set. It's worth well into the millions of dollars. This is the step between those two things, right? This is the patch auto out of Ultimate. If you look at the back of the card, you'll see the number 127-P. Go compare this to his normal rookie card, which is 127. This is a variation of that. And then the logo man auto is a variation on top of that and is unquestionably the best patch auto of LeBron James in existence. And again, I think it's pretty undoubtedly the best card I think it's probably the best basketball card ever made. I think it's probably the best basketball card ever made. Would I take anything over it? I don't think so. And we don't, I mean, is it better than the Steph logo Minato? Yeah, we've never seen it before, but I would rather have the LeBron logo Minato than the Steph. Is it better than a Jordan PMG green? Yeah, I think so. I do. I think it's the best basketball card in existence, and this is the lower variation of it. But people don't think about it because we've never seen it sell before. This one is not a great copy in the serial and the autograph, but and look, the patch is 2-color, but part of what you're seeing there is actually shadow. It does hit, and there might even be 3 colors. I can't really tell. I'm colorblind. You guys know that. There might be a 3rd color in there though. It looks like there probably is a 3rd color. I love that card. If it sells really low, I personally don't mind the autograph. I mean, it's not as nice as if it was blue, but I would love to own this card. And I would love, it's a 7. It's not a great patch. It's not a great autograph. I mean, it's basically where the other LeBron RPA, the exquisite one, is top 10%, top 10%, top 20%. This one's like bottom 20% on the autograph, probably bottom 10% on the autograph, bottom 30% on the patch, because a lot of these are like, honestly, a lot of them are 1 color. This might even be an average patch. And then the condition though is like bottom 10%, bottom 20%. So this is one of the worst of the 25. I'd love to own it. Might even go after it. Okay, and then lastly, one of the nicest refractor cards ever made. This is just a beloved card. People, you don't hear a lot of people asking for pristine brand cards. This is the one card I can think of where it's like, do you know anybody who has the pristine Kobe? This is the gold refractor, which is also die cut. You can see around the edges. It's sort of got these, I don't know what you call this pattern, but a little bit of die cut. Card's numbered at 27, which is great. I love the number 27. So number 3 of 27. Great image of Kobe flying through the air. That's what really does it for this card, is Kobe's just that pose. It's just a beautiful card in hand. I'm 99% sure I know which collection this came from, and I might be bitter tonight. And that is it for Goldin. Oh man, there's so many good cards this week, guys. It's crazy. I can't believe I'm going so long again. Darn it. Hoodies has some amazing stuff going on this week, especially by way of the Kobe patch autographs. Look at this. The All-Star patch with the cool stars on it. The Cornerstone with the 4 patches. A really great looking NT. This one from 04 SP Game Used. Like, we start with 4 patch autos of Kobe Bryant. 4 absolutely huge cards. Then you get down into Cooper Flag. This really nice Jordan autograph. Shohei, Joe Caglione, Robinson, MJ duel. Lots of good stuff here, guys. And then let's talk about Fanatics Collect's weekly. This week is just so insane. And I think whenever that happens, whenever you get all of the big auctions at the same time, and this week we have MC Sports Cards big auction, Heritage big auction, and Goldin. Whenever that happens, you must look at the weeklies. You must, because sometimes the things that are sitting in the weeklies will go less noticed. That's sometimes where your best money can be spent. I'm just telling you from experience and basic laws of supply and demand, that is the case. Another big Caglione, and I'm probably saying his name wrong, Caglianone. This Jordan right here is really interesting. Take a really good look at it. It's actually autographed in Autograph Scoring Kings. I don't know where it was autographed. I don't know if it's like a camp autograph or something. But another card that just jumped out as me is like, holy crap, why is that not in the premiere? Is this limited logos right here? Really an interesting patch. I know it's mostly white, but a lot of stuff going on like 3 different areas of the edge there, maybe 4 different areas of the edge there. A PSA 10 on the Total D is always a big deal. BGS 9 on the rookie is always a big deal. And then I don't know hockey vintage at all, and I don't even know how to say this guy's name. I think it's Vezina, right? Vezina. The 1911 George Vezina rookie, I think, is a big deal card. I think that. I don't know it. I need to do more research. I might even do a reel on that one this week. That might be an interesting one to do. And then we're going to skip to Card Hobby now. Card Hobby has a bunch of crazy autograph patches towards the top, like they always do. A few things stood out to me in planning. Big time LaMelo Ball, because it's a 10-10. And that's why it's almost 20 grand already. Big time duel here with Ja and somebody else. I'm not going to look. See, oh, it's Brandon Clark, his teammate. I don't think he's still his teammate. I think he's moved on. I should know that. Panini 1-1 of Steph. And wonder if it looks like it comes with both of those. That's kind of a big deal. This year of Flawless is gorgeous. This is the autograph patch of Kobe. And then we'll get down here. There's another card down here I wanted to show you guys. Where did it go? I love this Yao. I love this image of Yao, both hands in the air, walking away. I love this Kawhi champ tag here because he's one of those 5 championships. Just a bunch of awesome stuff. I am sorry that this week I did not do what I should have done and kept a great list of all of the best cards that I want to put on the thumbnail, like I always do my top 5. But I will tell you that I love this Ty Cobb. It's like an original 1 of 1. It may not always be, but it's the only one in the census. I love this Kobe Bryant gold autograph. I love the LeBron exquisite RPA top 10, just amazing cards. And then there's a ton of other stuff that's throughout here, but I've been totally disorganized, as I often am. You guys are awesome for joining. Thanks for liking, commenting, sharing, all of those things. Thanks for joining in every week. Sorry, I just can't keep these things short. I think I'm sort of questioning whether I should go through some of the most significant sales last week. If you have feedback on that week, please share it. If you would rather have me jump right into the auctions, I'd love to do that. But an hour 41 is just so long. It's for me, it's like too bad that so many good auctions happen the same week. Sometimes we'll have weeks where we don't have as much. But holy crap, this week is a huge week. I mean, huge week. MC Sports Cards has 2 auctions on their own. Their typical weekly and their typical monthly, and they're both ending tonight. So anyways, guys, thank you again for following. If you haven't checked it out, I did a story on my dad. That's me when I was a little kid with my dad. I did a story this week on my dad selling his 1959 Porsche. Big week for my family 2 weeks ago. And I made that into a reel, and it's been viewed by like 150,000 people or something crazy like that. It's been really a highlight for me and my dad to have so many people check that out. But a lot of people, a lot of DMs, a lot of messages. It was a personal one to me, so forgive it being a little bit personal. But anyway, guys, an hour and 42 minutes. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy collecting.